We all love a good story, right? But what is it that makes a character stick with you like forever? It's not just about what they do, it's about their transformation, who they become. So today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to deconstruct a really simple but powerful story to get to the very heart of what character is all about.
And it all kicks off with this. Just one line. You feel that, right? We have no idea who this person is, but we get that feeling. We feel that sting and that little spark of defiance. This right here, this is the emotional core of the whole thing.
All right, so let's dive in. Let's meet our main guy. The world he was born into. Well, it wasn't about what he had. It was all about what he didn't have. His entire life was basically this constant, painful reminder of this other world, this other life that was always just out of reach. So you've got this kid, right? And he's living in two completely different universes at the same time. His world, it was scraps and shadows and silence. But then there was their world, the one he was always looking in on. That was a world of feasts and bright lights and laughter. And that huge gap between them, that wasn't just his backdrop. Oh no, that was the kindling for the fire we just talked about. Every great story has that one moment, right? That one pivot where everything just shifts. And for our guy, it wasn't some huge epic battle or a dramatic event. Nope, it was something small, something cruel. A single insult that was going to bounce around in his head for the rest of his life and literally shape everything that came next.
In the world of storytelling, we've got a name for this. It's called the inciting incident. Think of it like the little nudge that starts a giant avalanche. So, for him, that laughter, it was way more than just embarrassing. It was the moment he got his mission. It was the thing that gave him a reason, a purpose, that would basically fuel him for decades.
And see, here's the thing. It was never really about the shoes, was it? Not at all. They were laughing at where he came from, at his place in the world. They were pretty much telling him he was worthless. And that's why his reaction inside was so intense. That's what made his whole journey feel not just like a choice, but like a necessity. So he takes this one searing moment of pain, and instead of letting it turn into, just raw anger, he channels it. He turns it into this quiet, unstoppable drive. So this next part of the story, it's all about how he built a completely new person from the ashes of that one single insult. And look, this didn't happen overnight, not even close. It started with a promise he made to himself, a silent vow. And that promise? That's what got him through the grind. We're talking years of hard work, of sacrifice, all happening behind the scenes when nobody was paying attention. Then, finally, the breakthrough, that first little taste of success. And from there, he just kept climbing until he hit the summit, the absolute peak.
He didn't just get successful, he became a giant in his field, a titan. Yeah, he made an insane amount of money, but what he really built was something you just can't buy, a reputation. People knew him for being brilliant, for being a person of his word. And that was priceless.
Okay, and here it is. This is the moment, the one the whole story has been leading up to, the big confrontation. We've been with him on this journey, we've felt the struggle, and now we're ready for the payback. We're expecting him to get his revenge, right?
So the stage is perfectly set. Years and years have gone by. The little boy with the worn-out shoes, he's now this incredibly powerful man. And the people who laughed at him, well, guess what? They're standing right in front of him, and they need his help. They're at his mercy.
Yeah, turns out life wasn't so great to them. They came to him asking for a lifeline. Their money gone, their old arrogance totally replaced by desperation. And they're standing there, humbled, beaten, and they have no clue who he is. You couldn't script a better moment for revenge if you tried. So he just listens to them, hears them out, and then, super calmly, he reaches down and pops open his briefcase. Can you just imagine the tension in that room? What's he pulling out? Is it papers to prove they're ruined? Some symbol of how he won?
But then, the twist nobody saw coming. He doesn't destroy them. He thanks them. He says, "Here is your final payment. Thank you for the motivation. You are the best investment I ever made." Wow. He completely reframes what they did. Their cruelty wasn't something he had to get over. It was the very thing that powered him. In just one sentence, the entire story just flips on its head.
And that twist, it just makes us stop and rethink everything about this guy. Was this ever actually about getting even, or was there something much deeper, something way more powerful driving him from the very beginning? To really get it, we've got to talk about motivation for a second. There's extrinsic motivation. That's when you do something to get an external reward, like money or, revenge. Then there's intrinsic motivation. That's when you do something for the feeling it gives you inside, for the growth, the purpose. So the big question is, which one was really in the driver's seat for him?
So just think about that for a sec. The character we thought we were seeing this whole time, he was a victim, just reacting to something bad that happened in his past. But the character who was actually there, the one we see at the end, he was a strategist. He was proactively taking that pain and using it as fuel for his own personal growth. He wasn't focused on tearing them down. He was focused on building himself up.
And this is the real takeaway, the thing that really matters. Character isn't some fixed thing. It's not just who you are, it's who you choose to become. This guy took his greatest weakness and literally engineered it into his greatest strength. He manufactured his own motivation. And in doing so, he showed us that the story we tell ourselves about our lives, well, that's the story that becomes real.
Which kind of leaves us with this one last, pretty wild thought to chew on. We always think of villains as these bad guys we have to defeat, right? But what if this story is telling us that the right villain, the right challenge, the right obstacle is actually the best tool we have for our own growth? It really makes you think, doesn't it? If you were writing your own story, who would you hire to be your villain?